What is the wisest saying you've ever heard?
You don't need to light yourself on fire to keep others warm. What can't be helped must be endured. My grandfather.
The true master is an eternal student. Anger gives motivation without purpose. Master Yi.
Intelligence is knowing tomato is a fruit, wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
Don't do anything you are not prepared to do.
Egos trip but the humble don't stumble. Are you so busy fighting you cannot see your own ship has set sail?
Monkeys can't sell bananas.
People who worry about what other people think of them are often surprised to learn others don't think of them at all. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or the one. Q Fry saying, but it's my life.
Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from.
Just send it. You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into.
There's 3 sides to every story, your side, my side, and the truth.
I'll be honest, some of the best quotes I heard are from Assassin's Creed. One of many is, information learned is more valuable than information given.
This is a good one for any subcontractor, freelancer. Good, fast or cheap. You can only pick 2.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Life, sexually transmitted and terminal.
I think it's from Reddit and maybe I'm butchering it. 90% of the time, 90% of the people in the world are trying to do their best and be good.
The more time you spend watering others' lawns, the greener their grass looks compared to yours.
We judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge others by the behavior.
In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Never argue with an idiot, they'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience.
You could walk on water and people will say it's because you can't swim.
When you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you might learn something new.
A car that won't start is an inconvenience. If it won't stop, that's a problem.
We have 2 lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. Confucius. Hate is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
I'm late to this party. The first is something a Buddhist monk told me after he heard me vent some frustrations. He sat next to me on the train and said, "You look distressed." And I told him how angry I was at people for various things. You see, the things I was mad about don't matter after he gave me his advice. We are all flawed in this way. We tend to judge other people by their actions while we judge ourselves by our intentions. If you believe them to be good people otherwise, have some good faith in their intentions. It hit my young 20s self hard. Because I was very guilty of that. I think we all are. We excuse ourselves for mistakes because we mean well, but insist that's not good enough when others slip up. It taught me to remember to be critical of how mad I get over such matters. The second is from the show Chernobyl. I've been told that Valery Legasov actually said it, but I can't seem to find a source on that, so take that how you will. Every lie we tell incurs a debt to the truth. Sooner or later that debt is paid. The third is advice from Grandma Yoshiko. People who boast about being brutally honest are usually most interested in the brutality. If they really told it like it is, then they'd be spitting out compliments left and right, too.
Make time for planning. Wars are won in the general's tent.
If it smells everywhere you go, maybe it's you. If you raise your kids, you can spoil your grandchildren, but if you spoil your kids, you will have to raise your grandchildren. Edit, my first silver, thanks user. Edit 2, whoa, 2 more silvers and a gold. Thanks again, seriously, I feel really happy, you really made my day, happy crying face.
Being mature is knowing when to be immature.
If they wanted to, they would.
People don't quit companies. They quit management. I own a company now, but I've had horrible bosses before.
When I was young, my father told me, "Don't cry for something that can't cry for you," really helped me see what was important or not as a child when I used to cry over lost toys, etc. As an adult, there's obviously exceptions, but helped me through a lot of things. Like failed relationships where I realized I shouldn't cry for someone who wasn't crying about me.
Pride is not the opposite to shame, but its source. Uncle IROH. My great-uncle Reed told me. Sometimes in life you're gonna get slapped in the face. At these times of your life, it's best to turn the other cheek. But never forget that you only have two. And also Glenn Frey of the rock band The Eagles sang these lyrics that changed my life forever. Well, I know it wasn't you who held me down. Heaven knows it wasn't you who set me free. So oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in chains, and we never even know we have the key,
Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius.
My top 5 favorite quotes. We suffer more from imagination than from reality, Seneca. It's silly to try to escape other people's faults. They are inescapable. Just try to escape your own, Marcus Aurelius. If you have a problem that can be fixed, there is no use in worrying. If you have a problem that cannot be fixed, there is no use in worrying, Buddhist proverb. The world is a comedy to those that think, a tragedy to those that feel, Horace Walpole. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment, Marcus Aurelius.
You are now becoming what you are going to be.
An eye for an eye and the world goes blind. Don't believe everything you think.
Just because you can, doesn't mean you should, and just because it's comfortable, doesn't mean it's good.
You will always meet your destiny on the path you took trying to avoid it.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. Desiderata. Honestly, I thought about pasting the entire thing of Desiderata, just because it's got so much wisdom packed into it, but that is the part that always touches me when I get to it. Never do illegal shit while doing illegal shit. Wisdom is knowing you know nothing.
Don't sweat the petty things, don't pet the sweaty things.
The most dangerous phrase is the language is, we've always done it that way.
Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't fucking matter.
I remember reading this on Reddit somewhere. Be decisive. Right or wrong, make a decision. The road of life is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make a decision.
It's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That's not weakness, that's life. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Edit, holy fucking shit. I just did some work outside and now this post has 17.5k upvotes and 3 awards. Holy shit, that's surreal. And a sincere thank you to the 3 anonymous internet strangers for giving me my first ever awards.
All it takes for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing. Relationships are like farts. If you have to force it, it's probably shit.
You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't speed onto the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
I always tell my kids, don't give up what you want most for what you want now.
Youth is wasted on the young.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Silence is the haven of a purposeful mind.
Never be facing the wind.
I was going through a breakup at the time and my best friend said, it's easy to let your sadness turn into hate. Make the right choice and let it turn to acceptance instead, however unbearable it may be.
Don't look back in regret, but move on with hope.
Measure twice, cut once.
People like people who like people.
If you never heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. Fuck it, dude, let's go bowling.
It is easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled.
You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
I had a math teacher in middle school who said, the ratio of your ears to mouth is 2 to 1. You should listen twice as much as you speak.
A good amount of time you're not in love, you're infatuated and choosing to ignore red flags and other signs of toxicity out of your deep-rooted fear of loneliness.
If you depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu.
The world is changed by your example, not by your opinion.
Everything Uncle Iro ever said.
Learning from mistakes is one of the best ways to learn, no reason they have to be your own. Edit, thanks for the silver kind stranger, my first. Glad you all liked this little nugget of wisdom. I wish I could tell you where I heard it. Just one of those things, but I definitely enjoyed waking up to all the replies.
A stitch in time saves 9.
You don't practice climbing the Mount Everest by climbing the Mount Everest. If you have bad luck with roommates, you're the bad roommate. Sarah Silverman.
Looking for your happiness or satisfaction inside other people or events will only lead to frustration. Build your own happiness within your life and the people and situations will be much more pleasant in the long run. You can tell how mature someone is by how they are willing to accept the answer, no. Also rephrase it as, being an adult is willing to accept the answer no.
I am not responsible for the feelings of anybody else. This helped me so much. I used to always worry, if I say, then they might feel, so I won't do it even though it makes me way happier. Of course this does not mean I should be an asshole to everyone around me, it just means I have to take care of me and they have to take care of themselves. It's not my job to care of everyone's well-being. It's theirs. Also, be recklessly kind.
Every expert was a beginner once. Absolutely my favorite.
I don't know if it's always wise, but most of the time I think it is. Only look in another person's bowl to see if they have enough to eat.
What stands in the way becomes the way.
Never blame on malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity, or ignorance or clumsiness or similar.
You're not competing against others, you're only competing against your past self. This helps a lot when I get continually lapped in the swimming pool.
One of many wise words shared with me, time is our most valuable commodity, and one should strive to use it well.
Lack of attention doesn't mean lack of knowledge.
This too shall pass.
Follow your heart but take your brain with you.
If someone trusts you blindly, don't prove them blind. My mom when I started to date.
Be careful what you tolerate, you are teaching people how to treat you.
From Winnie the Pooh when saying goodbye to his friends, how lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard.
Time you enjoyed wasting is not wasted time.
Give a man a mask and he will show you his true face.
Always leave wishing you could stay a little longer.
Don't practice until you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong.
Sometimes it's better to let someone figure out they're an asshole than to tell them they're an asshole.
When my kids were little, my landlord told me, the days are long but the years are short, and goddamn she was right, sad face.
Empty vessels make the most noise.
My grandpa used to say extra little effort saves you from a world of trouble later on. Use some extra little effort to put things back in their place so you know exactly where to find them next time, so on. He's been gone for over a decade, but I still say these words to myself if I feel super lazy. Edit, someone gave me this really fucking cool award, thank you. I don't know what it is or how to use it though, I'm not a very advanced Reddit user.
Pay attention to how people talk about others while they're not there. It's how they'll talk about you while you're not there.
The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is right now.
Consider subscribing.